Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze, second show in a day. Well. It's happened a few times, not very often though. I've had to do a little bit of a response to some of the other bits and pieces that have been going around. Now, look, I'm not blaming fans because as fans, you kind of listen to what's being pushed out there in the media, and to be honest, we've all had our hopes built up from what it looks like, targets that we were probably never in for. That's what's happened. Just like with Grealish, just like with Harvey Elliott and players like that, you get these big ideas, we're going to get him. But then what happens now? I mean, we've been linked with Harvey Elliott, right? What happens if we go out and we get someone who's not quite as good as him, we think, in our eyes? Who's this? You know, we don't even know that we were in for Harvey Elliott. In fact, we weren't. We never put a bid in for him. Jack Grealish, Tyler Morton, we didn't even compete for him. He's gone to Lyon. I didn't want him anyway, but he's gone to Lyon. It's all nonsense, all right? Now, look, before I get into this, because this is about John Victor, please subscribe if you haven't already and drop a like on the video, because I'm going to defend this bloke. I'm going to sit here now and tell you I know nothing about John Victor. Nothing at all. I've seen everything sent out there to discredit him. There's a clip of him doing a dodgy throw out. Well, have you seen Suzuki punching the fucking ball out and missing them? And Hermansen, there's a show reel of him playing stupid little 5-yard passes, trying to fucking bait the press outside his own 6-yard box. That's one of the reasons I didn't want him, because I saw that show reel. There's every keeper makes mistakes. But now, everyone, because they don't want this player, and the reason you don't want this player is because you've had it built up that Suzuki, 22, and Hermansen, who's 25, they're superstars. They're brilliant. And it's 25 and 30 million. We was never going to spend that on any goalkeeper. We just weren't. We still need a midfielder. There's a little bit of money there somewhere. I'm kind of hoping that at some point they're going to splurge and we're going to get a surprise player come in. Who knows? Might even be Elliott. It won't be. But what I'm saying is on the goalkeeper front, we was never going to spend that much money. And it's quite clear that people that are in the know can't not be in the know. They can't be. They've literally got to know everything about everything, and they get very embarrassed when they don't. And the storytelling gets very creative every time. When something doesn't quite go how they suggest it does, there's always a story why. There always is, because apparently now the reason that we're going for John Victor, first of all, it's a Sullivan signing. Yeah, okay. So Sullivan signed Carl Walker-Peters and Wilson, which are about his mandate. Salt house clients, got his son doing the other one. This geezer, no one knows about him. No one knows about him. It is exactly the type of name that pops up when data analysts and whatever else do their research. They're not all going to be 20-year-old midfielders. They're not. 29 for a goalkeeper isn't old. He's unknown and he's incredibly highly rated in Brazil. I've got a comment I'm going to put up in a bit. Like I said, I don't know anything about him, but I ain't going to slag the geezer off. This is all because the people that were in the know are now embarrassed because they wasn't in the know, and now they're trying to sort of, paint this story and demean this player to cover their own arses. That's what they're doing. This is not a Sullivan signing. This is like a Diouf signing. This is completely out of left field. Because it ain't peanuts. We're paying 8 million for him. That's not peanuts. It's not, especially for a bloke who's from the Brazilian league as well, who is a bit of an unknown. So this is time will tell if it's a good deal or not. But for all the fans to all of a sudden be slagging this bloke off, listening to everything that people are saying about him, last minute an agent's pushed it on Sullivan and he's just gone and got him. That's a convenient narrative for those that didn't know who our primary target was, quite clearly, or one of. It's a very convenient narrative. And now, which is the really demeaning story which is coming out about this player, to cover their own arses, they're saying the reason that we didn't get Hermansen is because, or Suzuki, is because both of those players, they wanted to be number one and didn't want to play back up to Areola, whereas John Victor, he's happy playing. He's happy to come in as a number two. What a load of bollocks. Honestly, what a load of bollocks. First of all, it's demeaning our new keeper, who we're going to be getting, who could be very fucking good. You've got no clue. And secondly, as if we would pay 25 to 30 million for a goalkeeper to not be number one, as if that conversation ever happened, as if Sullivan would ever go out, offer 25 million for a player and say, son, you're sitting on the bench. Fuck off. Absolute waffle. It's all arse covering, but in this case, I'm taking exception to it because, again, this is building the hopes up of the fans. This is why I can't stand all this propaganda shit. They're literally, this ain't right. It's not fair. I'm going to put a comment up from somebody who knows. This is one of our followers who is a Brazilian and a Brazilian football fan. There you go. DJ Yuri Michelato. He says, I'm Brazilian myself, and honestly, John Victor is a fantastic signing. Great value for money, in my opinion. This guy is a hidden gem. He was signed by Botafogo a couple of years ago and suddenly made the first team, becoming unquestionably important to the Brazilian Premier League. Mind you, Botafogo hadn't won this title in like 30 years, but they were acquired by an investor called John Textor, who also invested in players, John Victor being one of them. Now, that's someone who knows. Not a shit keeper then, is he? No, he's not. A hidden gem. 8 million. I don't see what the fucking problem is. I personally, Suzuki isn't a finished article yet. He's really not. He's a good keeper. He's big, but he ain't perfect. He don't catch a fucking ball for a start. He punches them out, and Hermansen dicks around on the floor. So I don't know what people are getting so excited about, other than the fact you've had your hopes raised by these people. Honestly, it's becoming insidious now. It really is. Like I say, if you go for a look at midfielders, if you go for all the fucking names that we've been linked with that we was never going to get, the ones that Sullivan probably did peddle to them to sell season tickets because it all stopped dead the minute that season ticket window closed. But how do you go from a Harvey Elliott or a Jack Grealish to someone who's a little bit more sensible, who would actually come to us? Because you're going to be like underwhelmed. You're going to be like, oh, fucking hell. Could be a perfectly good player, but now, because you've gone from a fillet steak, you don't necessarily want a bit of brisket. Do you know what I mean? So I do think it's insidious. I think it's wrong. I think it's a shame. Please be open-minded with this deal. I personally don't feel like this one is a Sullivan signing. I really don't. And I don't think 8 million is peanuts for an unknown player who's 29 in Brazil either. I don't think that's peanuts. So I think that this is exactly what you wanted Macaulay for. Or a lot of us did. Data-driven recruitment. That's how we got Diouf. That's how we got this player. The other two, bang on. Wilson and Kyle Walker-Peters. Obvious signings. If it was going to be a Sullivan signing, it would have been the Salthouse goalkeeper from Sheffield United. But we haven't done it. So I'm going to hold fire on this, and I ain't going to gobble and swallow up all the shit that these people want you to swallow because they're embarrassed. All right? Like I said, these people just can't not know. Well, they didn't know. They didn't. And it doesn't matter. What difference does it actually fucking make? None of these people have any bearing on who we sign or don't sign. If they didn't exist, we'd still sign these players. It's just that they get little snippets of information and they can leak it out there. In fact, do you know something? It's probably more detrimental to us signing players in the long run. No doubt at some point, a leak has gone out there that we're going after a player, and it probably hasn't helped us. So I long for the day where we get this type of news. Well, I long for the day it's happened. All of a sudden, Romano goes, bang, you put a bid in for this player. That's how it should be done. We shouldn't know who the targets are. I know we want to know. I know we live in a world of information where we want to know everything. I know we do. And that's the reason you've got these people, because while there's demand, there'll be supply. Even though what's being supplied isn't always the gospel truth. It's not. Or in my opinion, hardly ever is. But there you go. What I'm saying is, give John Victor a chance. And don't listen to all the propaganda of these people that are out there covering their arses and their mates' arses and everyone else who's involved in this circle. Just enjoy the fact that we're going to sign another keeper. I think he will be number one. I've actually seen a few other clips of this guy that back up what I was saying earlier on. His distribution is good. He's been likened to Edison on that front. So look, we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. But for me, no, this is not a Sullivan signing. It's not. Whether it'll be good or not, I don't know. But give the geezer a chance. Anyway, look, that's it from me. Yeah, Propaganda Weekly. Well, might be daily at this rate. See you later.